Hi, I'm Cory Fornier. I'm one of the teachers here at the music store. I specialize in acoustic electric guitar and beginning mandolin. In this brief video, I just hope to answer some of the questions that I'm most commonly asked about lessons in general, about guitar in particular. One of the first common questions is, shouldn't I learn on my own first? Before I take the time and the money to take some lessons, shouldn't I get a book and just learn a few things on my own? I think it's a good idea to take even a couple lessons before you try to play, simply because a teacher can simplify things so much to give you a better idea of what to focus on. Some people also ask me, what's a good age to start playing guitar? Most of my students, I would say, are between 11 and 16, but I do have them as young as 4 to 5 years old sometimes, and I think the oldest student I've ever had was maybe 82. So it's really never too late to learn how to play. Kids who are young differ. Some 6-year-olds are ready, some 12-year-olds aren't, if that makes any sense. It just depends on the child. It also depends greatly on, I think, your expectations of that child. I've had quite a few 5-, 6-year-olds, and as long as the parents understand that it's more about having fun and learning a little bit about music, if you're not expecting them to become great musicians in a year or two, then I think you can have a lot of fun playing even at a young age, and it really benefits them. A lot of people ask me, how much do I need to practice? I think if we do things right, it shouldn't feel like practice all the time. When I hear the word practice, I think of work and effort and boring. I make jokes that I've never really practiced. Of course, that's not true. I put a lot of time and effort into this. But what I mean when I say that I've never really felt like I've practiced a lot is it's been fun the whole step of the way. I think that's a big thing that a teacher does for you, is they can, again, customize lessons for you to follow your interests, to follow what you like to play, so that you don't get bored. You know, we don't need more stress in our lives, we don't need more things that just take our time. It's got to be fun. So I like to try and find things that you enjoy, and people seem to learn a lot better when you're having fun in the process too. A lot of people also ask me, do I have to start out on an acoustic? This is, of course, an acoustic guitar, and people assume that you need to start with basics, which of course you do, but you don't necessarily need to start out on an acoustic. We can do basics on an electric as well. And as I mentioned, the younger kids, even a smaller size acoustic can be kind of big and cumbersome for them. So I'm surprised that a lot of my 8, 9, 10-year-olds will start out on electric guitar just because it's smaller and a little bit easier to play. Now, electric guitar certainly has more complicated techniques and a lot more things you can do with it. But there's no reason. If you think you want an electric guitar, if electric guitar gives the sounds and will imitate the songs that you want, I'd feel free to go ahead and look into electric guitars. A lot of people also ask, how long will it take me to learn how to play the guitar? I think the question behind that question is, how long will it take me to have fun? How long will it take me before I feel like I'm playing guitar? That depends a little bit on how good you want to be. But a good way to demonstrate that, I think, is to give you a little lesson, a first lesson, just to give you some idea of what playing guitar is all about, in my opinion. One thing I think of with any kind of music is that there's two main parts. You have the melody, which is the part that you sing or hum or whistle, and then you have the background or the accompaniment or the rhythm, you might say. Okay, so for example of that, see if you can name this tune. Of course, it's a trick question. There's no way you can name that tune, right? Sounds like a lot of songs, sounds like nothing, right? The reason you can't name that is because I'm just playing the background, I'm just playing the rhythm. Let me play the melody, let me play the other part of the song and see if you can name this tune. Same song. You've got it right away, right? I mean, who wouldn't have that? Happy Birthday, okay? That's just a brief, basic example of the two main parts a guitar player needs to be able to do. The single notes I'm playing, the melody for Happy Birthday, would be what you might call part of a scale. And the other part, again, is the rhythm, or what you would call the chords. A chord is several notes played at the same time. That may not seem like an amazing thing, but many instruments can only do one note at a time. Saxophones, flutes, bassoons, great instruments, but it takes several of those people playing at the same time, right? It's almost as if this is my bass, this is my bass clarinet, you know. There's 6 different voices there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. because I have 6 strings. Again, it doesn't seem that amazing, but really guitar and piano are the 2 big, what I would call chord, rhythm, harmony instruments. So that's a good example. So one of the things a guitar player needs to be able to do is to play chords. The other part is the melody or the scales. Now this can be your second instrument, even if it's not a very good one, like mine. So watch this. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. So there's the complete musical picture. You've got the rhythm or the background or the chords with the melody. Okay? And melodies almost always have lyrics or words singing to them as well. But that's just a great example of why a person who knows even 15, 20 chords, a couple strum patterns, we'll talk about that in a minute, you can make a lot of music by just strumming chords and singing along, even if you're not a very good or confident singer. That doesn't stop a lot of people, right? Exactly. So I just love that example. So when someone asks how long will it take to learn how to play guitar, I think people get a real kick out of playing a familiar melody. So even lesson 1, we try to learn Happy Birthday, Amazing Grace, you know, so something they can be familiar with to feel successful, to impress yourself. Because even though a lot of us won't admit it, in our minds we're thinking, am I going to be able to do this? You know, I've invested time and money, but I see a little anxiety in some beginning students, like, is this going to work out for me? Very high success rate. Many students within the first 2 or 3 lessons are playing something that feels like music to feel motivated to carry on. That's a great example. And we talked about chords. Chords are difficult at first. You have to learn some tricks, how to play the notes clearly. But watch this. I'm going to play 4 different chords, very common chords, and just listen to these. That may not sound very exciting, but those 4 chords have done a lot of popular songs. Now the right hand over here, I'm holding a pick, just strumming the chords. This is the hand that I think gives the life to the chords. Again, those chords sound great, but there's not much excitement because my rhythm is very, I don't want to say boring, but very basic. So watch this. Here's those same chords with a better strum pattern. About you, but that's starting to sound like an Eagle song or something. It's starting to sound like a real song. Let me make it a little more complex. Now we're cooking, right? Now that's really starting to sound like something. And again, the left hand, I'm doing those same basic chords. Those are different strum patterns which you can learn how to do. You can also do what's called picking patterns, where instead of strumming all the strings at the same time, you're picking out single notes. Check this out. Again, if you don't know anything about guitar, when you hear that, you might expect it to kind of look like this. It sounds like you're pretty busy doing a lot of information there. But the left hand's just holding a chord, and the right hand's doing the picking. I'm not trying to say you can do that in the first lesson necessarily, but I'm just trying to convey that it doesn't take a lot of different chords to make a lot of great music. I think it's really exciting. Very easy to learn some things that'll be fun on guitar for you. Thank you very much for taking time to listen to this little video and have your very first lesson. Please look us up, and all the teachers here are great, so feel free and look us up. Again, I'm Cory Fornier. You can find a link to my email on the website of the music store. Thank you very much.